What's going on, guys? It's Black Nora here from Team HQ, bringing you HQ's Shadow Army. Big congrats to Eddy for winning today's regional in Florida. Huge congrats to champ. And then also paired with him is our other two national qualifiers, Josh and Kensama, who's going to bring you down through a little bit of the deck, why we decided that Shadow was a huge meta pick into this regional, and why we think it's probably one of the best decks in the meta. So, Eddy, bring us through your tournament experience. Tell us a little bit about the deck, why you chose certain numbers, and just take us right through it.
Okay, so first, I kind of want to get started with the zero cost, which is the Shadow Soldiers. Now, I run 12 because this is like the most important card in the deck, just barring the raid. However, this is a draw trigger. It's a when played. You look at the top two and you filter one. It allows you to flow through your deck so smoothly. It can set up your raid. It sets up your sideline. It takes things out that you don't want to see. Like this card, for example, the one drop Sungjin Woo. This in sideline, amazing. Drawing into this, awful. It feels pretty bad. Whenever I see this, I'm like, yo, get this out of my hand now.
But great card.
Yeah, great card though, great card. Next card I want to talk about is your tank. Now this is a active trigger, nullify impact. It can get to 4k BP if paired with Monarch's Domain. This card is really good. This is a Shadow Army on the board. Amazing card. Next card I want to talk about is your Iron. Now, right here we play 4 Iron. This is the god dang Iron Wall, baby. This card showed up immensely today. Amazing. It's a 3k, so it helps in the Kenshin matchup. It helps in the Yellow Sakamoto matchup because they can't put up their small bodies against you and really like rush you down. Like a lot of people, what they try to do when they see you're playing Shadow, they try to aggro you down. Iron Wall, you can't aggro through the Iron Wall early. The next card is your Final. See, I'm playing 3 because I needed to make space for the Iron Wall. Normally, like I always like thought that 3 Final was kind of bait, but man, like today 3 Final, it really it did me well. I ended up winning the whole thing on 3 Final. It really changed my mind on it. Next card is your Monarch's Domain. This card is fucking broken. Double gen, buffs the whole board 1,000, gets added to hand. Amazing card. The next card is your color trigger, your 3-drop Sungjin Woo Search. This card is so amazing. It sends bad cards from your hand to the sideline while also searching something that you want. The most important part of this deck is finding your 12-drop raid. This just enables that alongside the Shadow Soldier. Make sure that you can just see your raids semi-consistently. Now, the next card I want to talk about is Tusk. This is like Tusk and Kaizel are kind of a pair, whereas they rest each other. They rest whenever 2k or less BP is attacking and gives it special effects. Tusk buffs something by 15, which came up immensely in the Sakamoto matchup. And Kaizel, you rest Kaizel and makes your 2k or less base BP swing under 4Ks. They cannot block with 4K or higher BPs. Now, if your opponent is filled up with a lot of 4Ks in their board and they have 1 life, they lost. They lost the game unless they have Final. And the next card is the Egress. Now, a lot of people play 3 Egress. I'm at 2 Egress because I needed the space for the god dang Iron Wall, and I do not regret that choice. 2 Egress was great. I was never in a position where I was like, dang man, Egress will be really good right now. You just play the Iron, set up that wall. The next card is what I believe is one of the most important cards in this deck is your Shadow Monarch. A lot of people, they like to play 3 Shadow Monarch, 1 Mutilation. That is very big bait. The value you get from 1 like 5k pop just does not compare to just raiding a 12 drop, swinging for 5. If you want to get rid of a body on the board, you're a lot better off like picking a body you want with the 12, getting damage off of it, and then putting your opponent in a position where, okay, now I'm down to 3 blockers. There is 3 more attacks coming, assuming that they saw first, and they just took 2. There's 3 more attacks coming. You're just in a bad position. You really gotta just block, and then they lose bodies. It's like the same thing as a regular special, but it's nuanced, you know. And the next
2 bodies, 1 card.
Yeah, 2 bodies, 1 card. And the next card is your raid. Now this guy is the goddamn GOAT.
You're the GOAT.
5K snipe impact on play, restand Shadow Army in the front and energy line. It just enables so much. If you play your Shadow Monarch, you get to play either an Egress most of the time, or 2 3Ks or less resting. You get to play a Kaizel, like I did in finals. I played a Kaizel and I played a tank, and then I raided and I restood this Tusk. It just is so good. This card is so good. I love it, man. I love this deck.
Amazing. Well, thank you for that. So, Eddie, tell us a little bit about today. How did it go? What was your matchups? You went through 8 rounds, undefeated. You ended on stream last round in finals. We got to see you play against an amazing pro player, legit vocals. Shout out to the whole D3 team.
My only loss today, legit.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking it back, Eddie.
You know I got you, man.
But yes, tell us a little bit about your matchups. Why did this deck do so well? What did you play against? Just tell us each round how that went.
So going into this regional, before I started testing for this, before Sakamoto came out, my list was just completely different, right? It was 4 finals, just not in it completely, not in it at all. And when Sakamoto came out, we printed it like a little bit before we started testing, and we were like, yo, Shinraid destroys us. He solo squads us. So we were like, we got it. And the aggression that the deck has as well with
That's
the skinny raid. Yeah. So the conclusion we came up with was goddamn Iron Wall. This will stop their early aggression. There's only like 1 body that they play that is gonna like consistently get over this, which is their Stepper Sakamoto, and a lot of the time it is in the back, unless like they raid on it and leave it in the front. But if they do that, then if I'm seeing a good turn, I'm most likely sniping that Stepper.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not getting the chip damage because that's the 3 energy card. So that's not happening for a while.
Yeah. So what was
And
your
also, they
what
have
was
a
your
lot of 2Ks.
what was your round 1? What was your round? How did that go?
My early rounds, my round 1 was against Milwoo. I don't know.
Free matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very
That's
free.
crazy,
I don't
guys.
want to like be disrespectful to the player, but this is probably like my most favorable matchup. I ended up putting him at 2 life on my 3rd turn because I like early pushed, and then I just saw like a bunch of attacks. Like he played a 4-drop raid, and that was like his only like defender. And I ended up just swinging under it with Kaizel, so he couldn't block with it. And then he didn't see an active trigger because Milwoo's life is kind of like pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
Mostly draw,
Yeah.
mostly
a lot of
draw.
A few ads.
A few add to hands. And I swung under it, I sniped it, and then I had 3 free attacks to come in. I ended up putting him at 2 life, and he would have been at 1, but his 3rd life was a special, and he specialed my last attacker. So I ended up taking that match pretty easily. My 2nd match was against a Kenshin. Now this Kenshin, he was a little bricked. He had to AP draw for 2 turns, but I think what really like lost him the game was like towards the end. He ended up filling his entire board with 4K bodies, and I thought, is this his only option? Because I don't know if he was too familiar with the matchup, but he read all of my cards. He read the Kaizel, he read my 12, he read, my Iron, my Tusk, he read everything. So he filled his whole body up with 4Ks, and he was only at 1 life, and I'm like, oh, I win, right? Because he ended up playing 3 finals already, and he would needed to have his last final in life. I don't know if he searched it or anything, but I most likely win. So this is why this card is so good. And not only that, but he played a pushback raid, and he pushed back my son. And I was like,
so
oh
good.
man, why would you do that? And
It's
then
activate.
Yeah.
Attack.
Most people, so explain that to those. Most people that don't know that card, it doesn't get snipe again, but it can swap again.
Yeah, it definitely swaps again.
Give you your 5th attack.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Yeah, like you said, it can snipe, but it definitely swaps, and you swap it after any attack, right? Any attack. It doesn't matter who attacks. It could be fucking
Another gym move.
Yeah, another gym move. Yeah, and the only restriction is you have to swap with a Shadow Army card, and
That's what we play.
yeah, which is like
Shocker.
90% of what we're playing. So he didn't read that, and then I don't know if he was a little bit surprised when I left this back in the energy line, but he didn't see that. And then when I swapped it again, he was like, "Hold up, let me read that." And he read it. He was like, "Oh wow, I completely misread it." And I was like, "Yeah, I got that swap. I hit for impact, and then I think the next turn, he was at 1 life. The next turn, he filled up his whole board with 4Ks, and then I was like,
Enable the Kaizel.
enable the Kaizel."
Right.
Typically bad matchup for us, but it sounds like he wasn't familiar with the matchup, and if you're not familiar with Shadow, it's gonna catch you.
It will.
Yeah.
Every time.
My third round was against a pure store variant of Sakamoto Days. This player also bricked quite a bit. It wasn't like, it was definitely like one of the
Soft brick.
the second round was a soft brick. He was more like a medium brick. He ended up like playing, but like I had already like put him at 4 life by his third turn, and I was like, oh man, I'm most likely taking this, and I think I ended up seeing like 2 12s, and yeah, it was just a pretty fast game.
Especially against Shadow, you can't take early damage because if they can deal damage to you before this Jinwoo raid comes down, then now you've just enabled them to do even more damage
Yeah,
to you.
because this is gonna come out, and I'm gonna swing 5, and if you're at like 5 life, you're in a really bad position.
You're probably losing your board. You're
Yeah.
probably losing most of your life.
Yeah. You don't want to be behind against Shadow. It's not a good time.
Yeah. My 4th round matchup was another Milwoo. Before I started the match, my opponent was like, "Oh man, I didn't want to play against you," and I was like, why? Because I didn't know what he was playing, right? And then he was like, yeah, blah blah blah. You're my worst matchup. And I was like, oh, this guy's probably playing Milwoo, and then that's what he ended up playing. He did some. His game plan was he tried to get over, like he tried to be faster than me. So he ended up pitching cards that he really didn't need to pitch, and I was like, why would you pitch your Elixir of Life? And then I talked to him after the game. He was like, yeah, I'm trying to be faster than you. So like, when you hit me hard, I would be like almost like there with you, and I'll be able to keep up. But that didn't end up happening. I kind of like just wiped his board. I swung a lot, and it's not like he wasn't like seeing his cards. Like he specialed me, he force blocked me, he cleared my board, and I still managed to come back mostly because of this.
Yeah, good card.
Right here. Like imagine in my
If it was
hand.
mutilated,
Imagine
you'd
if
be
it was
so
mutilation.
bad.
I would just not be able to
Then
come
his
back from that.
playstyle would, you wouldn't be able to come back from that because you don't have
Yeah,
a board.
like I would special a force block. What does that do for me? Not in
Add 2 to his sidelines is what it does.
Yeah, it adds 2 to his sideline. Yeah. So what this would do instead is set up my 12. I get that force block anyway, and then I'm getting 5 attacks. My 5th round, which ended up being my hardest round, was against a hybrid Sakamoto.
Which actually is what led us to this version of the list. That's a tough matchup.
Yeah, when you hear about the Iron Wall came about primarily because of Sakamoto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason that was my hardest matchup is because it's the game like I took the longest to play in. But the reason it was my hardest matchup is I opened on my hand, I saw like 2 zeros, 2 1s and stuff, but I didn't see a single double gen. And I was like, man, I can't mulligan this because there's always a chance I mulligan into brick. And I was like, this is really hard because if he starts shinning me early, I think I lose because I just won't be able to get my double gen. I went first that game, and I play. He went second. He played, and then I went again. And on his second turn, his 2 AP turn, he went Shin search. He searched Shin raid, And then I was like, oh man, if he plays final here and he raids Shin, I pretty much lose because he would send me back one card, and I'm already fishing for a double gen. Like, I'm not in a position where I could be sent back one card. So what he ended up doing was he played a double, and then he raided a skinny raid, and it just a big sigh of relief just went through my body. I was like, whew. He's like, he played a skinny raid. He got a character he played on top because of the skinny raid. And then I was like, hell yeah, bro. Hit me for 2. I don't care. Just
I'll draw 2 cards.
Yeah. He's like, hit me
And that really says a lot about the Shin raid,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
Draw
we
triggers.
would rather take 2 damage than lose a card in this deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, hit me for 2, bro. I don't really care. Like, much better than seeing Shin there.
Right.
I ended up drawing a double gen. I played on my turn, and then the Shin raid eventually came. And when he shinned me, what he was greeted with was I had this on board already, so I had a raid target on board, and he was greeted with 2 12 drops. I'm sorry, yeah, 2 12 drops and a special. And I remember just looking at his face. He was like, "Wow!" And I was like, "Yeah, man, like I really got it." And
Was that the game you played 2 unrated Jin with?
yeah.
Oh, that was huge.
Yeah, so later on down the line, right, what ended up happening was I was at 5 shadows, and no matter what, I had 5 shadows, 2 12 drops in hand, and I could not raid my 12 drop, right? There was just no way he was coming out that turn. So what I ended up doing was he had 2 4Ks on the board. I didn't see his high skate that lets him buff up high skate or just any other card by 2k BP. So I was like, okay, he's got no BP buffer. He has no way to get over 5Ks unless he specials them. But he was already low on hand size already. He had 2 cards in hand. He had pitched a special earlier because he was at 3 energy, and he had a skinny raid on top. I told my opponent I never forgot about that skinny raid. I had 2 nullify impacts in the top just waiting for him to play it. I was like, yeah, man, like I'm ready for you. And what ended up happening was I ended up playing a Monarch's Domain, and I played 2 12 drops, like just base on the board resting. And I was like, he was at 3 life, I had 2 domain. I buffed the tanks to 4, and I swung. He took 2. He didn't get much to help him out. And these guys, they, you know, at the end of the turn, they restand for 5. He's not getting over these.
How
Not
many
easily.
turns were those in play that he couldn't get through?
Was
it just that turn?
Or the
No,
rest of the game.
it was 2. Yeah, the
It was
rest of the
2
game.
turns,
Yeah,
right?
2 turns. Yeah.
The entire game.
the rest of
because-
the game, he couldn't get through it.
Yeah, because I didn't have he didn't have a way to kill me. I didn't have a way to kill him in my following turn. But what these ended up doing were they ended up just clearing his board. So the next turn after that, he ended up drawing. He played his 5 drop his 5 drop high skate, and then he ended up playing his 4 drop Sakamoto raid. I was at 2 life, and he basically it was kind of game at that point because he ended up sniping one of my nullify impacts, and you know Sakamoto was 5K.
You said you had 2 tanks, right?
Yeah, so he ended up sniping one of my nullify impacts. I had already given the other tank before to a block, so I was
So the only
like,
options were the 2 12s and the nullify.
yeah, so the 2 12s and the nullify. So he was like, you know, I'm gonna snipe your nullify because he can't snipe the 12. He doesn't have enough BP for it. And I was just at 2 life, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna take the impact hit because like I'm at 2 life, I'm not gonna lose. So that happened. The life ended up being a special, and I specialed him, and I ended up taking that game. That was my hardest.
That was the hardest one.
Yeah,
Alright.
hardest game of the day. My next game after that was on stream for a little bit. It was against Green Saitama. It was a pretty favorable matchup for me. If you guys saw on stream, I was at like 5 life, and he was like 2. I ended up just like blitzing him down because like a lot of my bodies he couldn't block with his Silver Fang because, you know, Iron was like much bigger than Silver Fang. I had a Shadow Soldier that was swinging below Silver Fang.
Yeah,
and
Kaizel too, right?
Yeah, I had a Kaizel. Yeah,
So
he was swinging
you're sneaking.
below because of the Kaizel sneak. And I had sniped his King at the top because, you know, the King generates energy at the top, and I'm like, yeah, you know, if I do this, I'm gonna take away his energy from the front line, so he'd be at 2 energy. My next match after that was Saito. Now this player he was the same Saito that got second. he didn't see a single Saito raid. Instead, he just kind of like tried to weenie rush me. And iron flip
The iron
wall,
I was
baby.
because that strategy can work if you're not running the iron wall.
Yeah, it can work if you don't have a nice 2 energy 3K that is gonna block your his 25s. I saw him have a 25 in the back, and then I was like, okay, if he pushes up that 25, I got something for him right here. And yeah, that was my 7th round. And my last round was on stream against Legit Vocals. It was like a pretty smooth round for me. I ended up seeing 2 12s, and he just couldn't compete with not compete per se, but the constant swings, the sniping of his body just put him in a pretty bad position, and I ended up taking the game.
Shout out to Legit. He was my only loss today. Thanks for taking it back for
Yeah.
Team HQ, big dog.
Yeah, I had to do it for my teammate. I didn't know that he had beaten you.
Yeah.
The back-to-back Shadow wins though. That's huge.
Yeah. I think it's huge, honestly, just to cap everything up, to say that Shadow's a deck that you can spend a little bit of time and really learn a lot from. It's a purple deck, so it has a lot of play lines, a lot of things that have access to different abilities. And honestly, I took 56 today at the regional, and these 3 gentlemen coached me through it in a few hours, and I couldn't believe how much it did. I looked past it myself. I was on Yellow Sakamoto, and I'm just super proud to see these guys do so well, make their way into Nats, and I think it's huge. So a huge shout out to you, Eddie. Congrats again.
The champ.
The one and
champ.
only.
Feels good to be the champ.
Yeah.
First regional.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
it's also
great,
my
yeah.
very first regional.
He popped off.
Yeah, I literally would not be here if it wasn't for my team here,
Yeah, well,
HQ.
We wouldn't be here without
Yeah,
you.
like I would have probably been at home watching Florida from my bed, looking at everyone else have a blast, watching someone else win. And if it wasn't for my team, all these guys who were here supporting me, I wouldn't be here, literally.
Well, huge
He
shout
put
out.
in the time.
He put in the time. He's been a believer in Shadow. He and I have been on it for months, and Ken joined the train with us, and we made the deck better together, and here we are.
Amazing. Well, guys, thank you again for giving some insight. Anyone
If
that
anyone
wants,
wants to play the champ,
Oh,
HQ
yeah.
Discord.
We play games
Yes.
all the time. I'm in
We're
there all day.
always in there play testing. We try everything. We try weird stuff. Josh and I are on 2 Arises, 3 Egresses.
And apparently the right play was 3 today. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll be talking about that later. But
Yeah. The Iron Wall,
yeah, the Iron Wall is the thing.
alrighty, guys. Thank you, everyone. Take care.